Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Shining Song, Starnova, the demo. I'm Darili, your narrator. In the first episode, we got to meet all the girls. Interesting characters indeed. So there's really not much to say past that point. Let's go ahead and get right into it. You can just sit back, relax, and let me read you a story. Sansa-chan, you're always too shy. You'll never become an idol with that kind of attitude. Sorry.
With that, self-introductions were over. As if on cue, Professor Okada walked through the door.
Good morning!
Good morning, Professor. Oh, good morning, everyone. My apologies for my tardy arrival. It appears you girls have already met your new producer. Professor Okada introduced me once more to the girls. Nishiyama-kun is a former student of mine. While he's still young, he's a diligent worker who will do everything in his power to turn everyone into successful idols. Please work hard together.
Hi.
Understood! I'm counting on each and every one of you. As I said, starting from today I'll be Shining Productions' new producer. Even though you're starting from scratch, I want to accomplish big things together. Big things, huh? I understand all of you applied to become talents at our agency. Before we formalize your work contract, there are certain criteria to be met. First, we'll begin with physical examinations, followed by individual interviews. We're still a small agency, so in the end, you're only applicants. So do your best to relax and convey your natural personality.
Oni-chan's sure a pervert. I wanted to see Aki-chan the way she was born the first day on the job.
Idiot! We'll be wearing swimsuits, obviously. While you're preparing for the examination, please also take your measurements. Of course, they'll be kept confidential, so feel at ease. We'll use your measurements to prepare your stage uniforms, so do your best to get accurate results. Yeah, don't try to fudge the numbers or you'll end up with poorly fitting costumes. You'll only be hurting yourselves, girls.
Okay.
I wish they would stop speaking in unison. That's hard to do. Now, does this place have a changing room? I looked around and found nothing of avail.
Time for the producer to vacate.
With a grin, Natan carted me out of the office into the cold hallway. Oh, kicked out into the cold. I guess that meant no.
Meanwhile, Julie stood on her tippy toes and grabbed a cardboard box from the top of a steel shelf. Aw, be careful! While Maria was the tallest of the bunch, it was clear from her drunken swaying that she lacked the capacity to grab the box.
Looks like this is where the swimsuits are.
Julie opened the box, and sure enough saw a set of swimwear inside. Aki dropped a coil of measuring tapes on the table. Yahoo! Let's strip!
Well, I guess we have to do it.
Julie reached into her skirt and pulled down her panties. That's the last thing you do! Why are you going for that first? Ara, it's black. See, she still has her underwear on. That's the last thing you take off, girl. She's got a really cute set, too.
What? What's wrong with black?
Oh god, it's time for censoring. I totally didn't think we would have uncensored nudity on here. I guess it's because this is the demo I downloaded from their official website instead of from Steam, because Steam's demo didn't seem to actually be working. I couldn't find a download button on there. Nemu's behemoth chest spilled out as she unclipped her bra. They're like 2 watermelons. Okay, Natsuki, you're freaking me out. Nemu stuck her tongue out as she wrapped the measuring tape around her mammies. Mammies? Goo. I bet you Nemonoma's chest is wider than my butt.
What kind of thing is that to say? Listen up, girls.
Ooh, she has a really pretty bra too. She's got like a jewel dangly thing between her chest. Maria interrupted the girl's tomfoolery.
The new producer's up to no good. I recognize his face back from when I was a golden calf. Even though we never talk personally, all the men who work there are the same. He'll sucker us with big promises, like we'll be famous and have millions of fans. He'll probably go on and on about how he can give us lives, and how great the idols he produces turn out. And then he'll make us sign a bunch of fishy contracts, and that's when the nice guy act will end. He'll force us to do this and that, topless photo shoots, make us eat bugs on live television. Oh god. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Who knows what new punishment game they'll devise next? And after he's through with us, he'll just cut us loose and say things like, "You're just not fresh enough anymore." Oh, poor Maria just told her life story.
Huh.
Away from the eyes of the producer, Aki's personality had completely transformed.
We all know Maria's not cut out for this sort of work. What's wrong with putting ourselves out there? I say bring on the revealing photo shoots. I'll pose with my boobs cupped in my hands 1,000 times if it means I get to stand on a stage. An idol who's scared of fan service doesn't deserve to be an idol at all. Just 'cause Maria screwed up her shot to become an idol doesn't mean she has to ruin it for the rest of us.
You don't even know half of what it's like.
Could it be that Aki-chan doesn't mind posing topless just 'cause she doesn't have nothing to hide up there? You always have to open your mouth. A flat chest is an appeal point in today's market.
Aki let her broad drop and puffed up her chest with pride. No, these girls ain't shy. True enough, her chest was nothing to write home about. Her little mounds were but little mochi cakes. Next to Nemu's jugs of wonder. Here we go again with euphemisms.
I've skipped drinking milk for the past 6 years just for my fans.
That's not good. What about your bones and your teeth?
Everyone.
The girls turned to face Sasami, surprised that the usual quiet girl had spoken. Wow, her underwear looks like negligee-like. Really pretty, but also much sexier than I would imagine from her. The producer's not a bad guy. I think we should trust him. Oi, girls who trust others so easily get eaten alive in this industry, you know. Eaten alive! No, actually, I know the producer back from when we both worked at Golden Calf.
Then why didn't you say something earlier?
Well, it's not exactly like we know each other well. In fact, I've only met him once, when I totally ruined his life. Once? And you think we should trust him just because of that? You're just... Anyway, that one time was enough for me to believe that he's not a bad guy. Just what makes you think that? Well... Sasami's voice trailed off.
Maybe Sasa-chan confessed to the producer that one time.
No, that's not it, Natan.
Figures.
With that, the girls finished putting on the swimsuits and measuring themselves. Their discussion left unresolved. The Shining Productions office consisted of just a small break room and a main office. There was a separate dance studio on the first floor of the tenement, which the office leased for practices. Overall, we had just the barest minimum level of facilities required to run an idol agency. The Golden Calf offices... Oh, darn it, I was supposed to be reading in the producer's voice. Sorry, I'll go to that now. The Golden Calf offices where I used to work had floors upon floors of photo stages, various sets used for shooting PVs, as well as facilities for talent such as spas, pools, and restaurants. Compared to all that, we essentially worked in squalor. I sat at my new desk, located at one of the corners of the office space, and reviewed the girls. The physical examination was mostly to check for obvious problems with the talent's physical appearances. Large birthmarks, stretch marks, scars, etc. reduced a candidate's commercial value, and so every talent had to be screened for such defects. Again, with those judgmental looks. I'm just a producer doing his job. Put those pitchforks down. Ahem. A row of girls dressed in swimsuits stood before my desk. If they actually had a box of swimsuits, I really thought they would just be like something generic. I didn't think they would actually have a set of swimsuits that suit each girl individually. Please, slowly rotate yourselves so I can get a clear view at you of every angle. Shouldn't they do that for each girl individually and not have them all do it at the same time? It's too easy to miss things this way. The girls did as I asked. It didn't seem like any of them had any problems. Not like I anticipated any. As one could expect from girls applying to be idols, each of their bodies had their respective charm. There was no question that the average man on the street would be overjoyed to have any one of these girls even express interest in him.
You want Aki-chan to get into a sexy pose for you?
No thanks. No, that won't be necessary. Okay, looks like everyone passes, so you can go ahead and get dressed now.
Over already? And I got all excited to get into a swimsuit.
Well, what'd you expect exactly?
It kind of made me think we were all headed to the beach or something.
Seriously? I think you would have been notified ahead of time. Of course we weren't going to do that in February, you idiot.
Figures. Hey, Oni-chan, does this mean that we'll be debuting as a unit?
Aki poked her head into my physical space by leaning on my desk. That's currently in the planning stages. For now, the presumption is that all 7 of you will be working together in the same unit. Of course, that doesn't rule out the possibility of subunits or solo work as well. So in other words, nothing much has been decided, huh? The girls lingered on in their swimsuits, apparently too focused on asking me questions. I could understand where they were coming from, though. No doubt they all had questions about what was going to happen next.
What about the photo shoots, radio shows, or television appearances?
We're working on all that as well.
Hurry, Oni-chan. Aki wants to do some sexy gravure.
Aki winked at me and bent down, pulling attention to her petite collarbones.
Collarbones, yeah, that's what she was going for.
Never mind that. We need a debut song before anything. Where are we even going to get a song? I'll be preparing that.
Ah, am I a songwriter as well? Am I multi-talented?
You? So you have a songwriter lined up? No, actually, I'll be writing it. I may not look like it, but I'm also a composer.
Well, would you look at that? Peacon's a surprisingly talented fellow.
I'll have to listen to what he makes before making that judgment. Well, I suppose we can get right to the interviews then. Despite the girls still wearing nothing but swimsuits, none of them particularly seemed opposed to continuing the discussion, as expected of idol candidates. As you most likely are aware, our company requires all talents to follow a code of conduct. Now, I would say that we're more relaxed than most other agencies, but please try to conduct yourselves in a manner befitting future idols. First off, have any of you had any past or current relationships with men? Obviously not.
You can't say that at your age. Aki-chan's too young for that. Yeah! Nuktan's such a loser. Never even had a boyfriend before.
And that's something to brag about?
I can claim no experience myself.
None.
The Dark Lord is the only man I serve. I can't say I've ever...
Well, no surprises there. Besides, even if these girls are total players who cycle one guy out every week, it's not like any of them are going to confess to their producer right now.
Well, Maria could have.
The only reasons producers even ask this question is to set up a legally valid claim for fraud if we discover later that the girls aren't as virginal as they claimed. I'm just performing my due diligence to the company. After asking a few more questions and receiving various generic, non-offensive answers from the girls, the interview concludes. Well, you could say everyone passes.
All right!
Wasn't it obvious? We were the only candidates. For now, I prepared a lesson plan, consisting of dance and vocal practices. Please devote yourselves to the lessons.
Understood!
I guess we don't really have a choice.
All right, let's do it!
Now please get prepared for the afternoon dance session. The girls eyed me. Oh.
Yeah, time to leave the room again.
I stood and vacated the premises once more before they changed. The girls stood around in shorts and t-shirts in the dance studio in preparation for the first lesson.
Well, this is a little exciting, isn't it? It feels like things are finally starting up again. Oh, I wonder what our new dance instructor's gonna be like. Oh, I hope the instructor's not too strict.
I entered the room pushing a cart with a CD player and a television screen on top. The girls gathered around as I pushed the cart into the front of the studio.
Don't tell me. Oh, we don't even have an instructor, we just have an instructional video.
I put in a DVD into the player and turned the screen on. A recording of a dance instructor played on the television. These DVDs will be our lessons for now. You mean we won't even have live instruction?
Figures. I guess a cheap agency like this couldn't be able to afford a real instructor after all. Natan.
That girl had one hell of a mouth. She seemed like one of those provincial blockheads who just spoke off whatever was in her head without a lick of restraint.
Yeah, that sounds like it pretty much.
I rubbed the back of my head, feeling awkward as hell. Please, bear with the individual practices for now. The girls stared at me, their previous enthusiasm wiped from their eyes.
Understood. Meanwhile, the girls slumped through This isn't meanwhile, this is later.
The girls slumped through practice with the barest minimum of effort.
Oh, come on, why didn't I motivate and encourage them as their producer?
Everyone sighed and changed back into their regular clothes as practice came to an end.
Good work, everyone.
Everyone murmured good work to each other.
Ara. Everyone's a little down, aren't they?
That goes without saying. Honestly, I'm disappointed. I thought this agency would be better than this.
Where did you get that idea?
Are we really going to be able to become idols like this?
Oh, well, it's all because we messed up our chances before. Yeah, it's not like we're pretty little youngins anymore. That train's already sailed past.
Natan. Whatever. I've got to get to work now.
Maria's working 2 jobs?
3? What do you expect? How are we supposed to survive in this town just doing this?
Natan's got work too.
What kind of work?
Construction.
Seriously? Oh my god, okay, I can totally see that.
Somehow that sounds like it suits you, Natan.
Gotta build up my muscles. What about you, Sasa-chan?
Me? I just help out at my parents' business. It's an old karaoke bar.
Sounds nice. I just live with my parents.
Braggart.
You're lucky.
Everything's easier when you're young, huh?
Seriously, it's not like I want to, but I don't really have a choice.
What about Mika-chan and the rest?
This one's life is devoted to the Black Road. A servant of the Black does not require unearthly sustenance. Devotion to the path is all that one needs.
In other words, you're just a NEET, huh?
Someone who doesn't go to school and doesn't work. Just a shut-in. Well, I guess I do some other stuff.
Like?
Stuff. Don't want to talk about it, huh?
Nemu.
Oh, look at the time. I gotta get going.
Okay, let's get going.
The group first went upstairs to say goodbye to me in the office, and then exited the office.
February 2nd, 2017, morning.
Of course, the purpose of a talent agency was to sell its talents. Whether to record labels, magazine publishers, television stations, or film studios, it had to be constantly advertising our employees. To that end, I had to arrange for a professional photographer to come into our office and take professional portraits of all our workers. I cleared out a section of our office and dropped down a white curtain from a chalkboard to jerry-rig a makeshift photo stage. It was a far cry from the extravagant photo shoots of my previous workplace, but for now this was the best we could do. The girls lined up to get their portraits taken one by one, or at least that was the plan.
Maria, what's the matter? You out drinking late again?
Can't really help it. I didn't get out of work until 4 a.m. You know, I really don't know how old geezers twice my age can smoke and drink the night away, and then show up to work the next day totally fine. Baldy showed up again to complain about his ex-wife, kept ordering whiskey all night long. After the 4th one, I was already feeling kind of out of it. Don't know what really happened from the 7th on. I decided to turn a blind eye to what I was hearing. While certain agencies would have no doubt thrown a hissy fit about one of their talents moonlighting at a hostess bar, it was clear all the girls had their own various circumstances. I was no exception myself. Anyways, I knew well enough that the girls here had to supplant their income with additional jobs to survive. Becoming an idol wasn't a walk in the park. The world spun around according to its own rules, and nobody here was going to change that. First up, Shimazaki-san.
Understood.
Sasami stood in front of the camera and put on her best smile. Shimazaki Sasami, formerly with Golden Calf, she appeared to me as the girl next door kind of persona. Of course, those kind of characters have been popular forever. although in more recent years they suffer from competition from newer and more aggressive character types. Basically, they appealed to more conservative fans who like something traditional. Unfortunately, she was avoiding contact with me at all costs, thanks to that incident. Next up, Kashiwagi-san.
Watch me!
Aki struck a dynamic pose, with her finger outstretched toward the camera. Kashiwagi Aki, perhaps the girl with the greatest potential here. While she was obviously going to have to drop her child idol image, she still had ample time left in her prime. It was hard to pin down exactly what her personality was like. She was a shapeshifter, able to play to her audience's expectations. Honestly, Aki was whoever people wanted her to be. She was a child molded and raised by this industry. Was I supposed to be concerned or proud about that? Maybe a little of both. Next, Yamamoto-san. Understood. Oh, well, that was a quick change. Maria gingerly stood up and put on a well-rehearsed smile. Yamamoto Maria. She had the most experience out of all the talent here, but also came with an assortment of liabilities. She was also a former Golden Calf talent. No doubt they threw her under the rug as soon as she outgrew her use. After some research, I discovered she had debuted 7 years ago in the 21-member Quasar unit, but never attained much notoriety. Huge units were like that. Most were set up to encourage infighting amongst the members, as they tried to climb onto the coveted top spot, while those unable to survive the bloodbath were pushed into obscurity. After she turned 24, Golden Calf quietly retired her, and then she wandered jobs until ending up at Shining Productions. Now she was a jaded woman of 25 years, with an alcoholic and tobacco problem. While you'd think someone like that could never become an idol, you'd be surprised just how common those problems were, even amongst most popular idols. Hey, I'm not here to sugarcoat this business. I've seen some crazy stuff myself. Tanabe-san.
Yahoo!
Natan leapt up and grinned stupidly into the camera. Tanabe Natsuki, a true wildcard. She had no prior experience in the industry. Honestly, she had a huge mouth which leaked the worst possible words at the worst possible time. However, she had an incredibly fit body and the stamina of a beast. Nowadays, honest girls were popular too. This industry has been spewing out obedient wife material for decades now, and now people wanted to see girls in their native habitats. They're talking about them like they're wild animals again. Or at least, that would be the angle I would use to sell her. Watanabe-san. Understood. Julie flipped her long hair back and smiled confidently. Watanabe Julie, a stunningly good-looking spider. Girls like her liked poking little stab wounds into men's hearts. Their fangs dripping with tranquilizing venom, a cocktail of both pain and pleasure. According to my research, she had a long history of changing agencies due to various reasons, one of which no doubt involved her biting personality. Given how hush-hush her previous employers have been about her, I suspect she's gotten herself into quite a bit of controversy. Ah yes, the great taboo topic of the industry. I best stop before the powder keg bursts. I'm not exactly sure what he's talking about specifically there. While she had the looks to become a top idol, what was inside her pretty exterior was another matter entirely. And now she was squarely my responsibility. Fun, fun. Currently, she was beyond what I could handle, so I was more than content to observe what happened next. Hashimoto-san.
Ooh.
Mika stood and posed in an outlandish fashion. Hashimoto Mika, despite her bizarre personality, it didn't take long to figure out that she was actually the shyest of the group. For the most part, she avoided contact with the other girls, and generally came off as a recluse. Most likely, her role-playing was a defense mechanism she used to communicate with others without exposing her real self. While one might be left wondering how a girl like her could ever become a pop sensation, Mika was thoroughly a girl of Neo-Akiba. Recluse with no life, no friends, and an obsession with late-night anime. She was the female embodiment of otakudom. Ah yes, Mika, Mr. Producer understands you.
Oh, that's so cute. I understand you too, Mika. So I guess basically it makes her relatable to the otakus, and that's part of the appeal.
Oh wait, what was I thinking? While I was born and raised an Akiba man myself, as you could expect from my current line of work, my job was to be a professional manager and nothing more. Ahem. I put my thoughts to order. Akimoto-san.
Yes?
Nemu acknowledged me in a sing-song manner and smiled absent-mindedly in front of the photo stage. Akimoto Nemu, the daughter of a local real estate magnate. A life of plenty had no doubt made Nemu completely oblivious to the toils of the common folk, and now she floated about in her own realm without a worry in the world. Looks like I was going to be playing babysitter for the rich now. In any matter, she had a bombshell of a body and a personality made for an idol. For all intents and purposes, I should be glad to have lucked out and picked up a candidate with such high starting stats. Further, having the backing of a rich and powerful family could have benefits of its own. It definitely looked like Nemu was a winner, to the point where somewhere deep inside of me, I had to wonder if she was too good to be true. With that, the photograph session was over. After speaking to me, the photographer packed up his equipment and left the office.
And we'll pick up there in the next video, cause, oh my god, I'm having such a hard time reading for some reason. I bit the inside of my cheek earlier, and it's been really screwing me up, and I've had to reread the lines like a million times. Well, hopefully I'll do better later. I wish I knew when the release date with this thing is. Apparently, this company is really bad about talking about their release dates before they actually put the games out. They like to surprise people. But hey, you know, if you all are interested in this game, if you like the characters and stuff, let me know which girl you think is interesting. When this game actually comes out, like, who should I go after? I don't know, I like a number of them. I think I like pretty much all of them except Aki, because... Alright, even with the guy games, I don't like the little ones. I don't like the youngins. For me, the more adult, the better. But, you know, then again, you all know I'm old, so... my view is a little skewed in that direction. Well, anyway, I hope to see you in the next episode. Or in some of my other videos, or maybe even on one of my other channels. So for now, they're really signing out. Bye-bye, everybody.